Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do a video for you guys and gals. I'm going to get a sip of my water first. Get my radio voice going. And let's talk about current events in the online fitness community because we have one and it's kind of a big one. Mark Bell's, I guess it's his Power podcast, which I have not heard in a long time. I have actually listened to a few episodes of it over the years. Maybe 5 or 6 episodes over the years. So I am somewhat familiar with it. I'm familiar with what he does there. I take a pretty neutral view on Mark's work. I'm neither against his work nor am I particularly a fan. It's good and bad. I mean, take it or leave it. All right, the thing is, he got shut down. And it looks like he got no warnings first. And from what I'm seeing, it looked like he appealed it and they said no. Now, I've heard a number of rumors. These are not substantiated, but it appears that he was giving out potentially harmful or dangerous information. It has been potentially linked, and a number of people said it seems to be related to his very pro PED use stance in those videos, which is a concern for me because I have occasionally run my Gear Talk series. And I've heard a few different stories on this. Some people have said because he doesn't do disclaimers. I had someone chime in and say, look, Vigorous Steve does these pretty much daily. This is the topic of his channel. He's never gotten strikes, never been shut down, and he just does disclaimers. I always do those medical disclaimers. That's not replacement for medical advice, that it's not condoning illegal activity. Always consult your medical doctor, so on and so forth. But the concern here is, what if that isn't enough? And that's always been my concern with YouTube, is the way things get demonized. Like, I actually personally wish everyone could be completely honest with what they do. But I feel like we deal with a community to where if people just simply tell you the truth, people are always like, we just want everyone to just be honest about what they do. But the problem is there's backlash. If everyone's honest, number one, people are going to realize all of their influencers that they follow are on gear. They're going to realize that tons of people that they think is perfectly obtainable natural are on a gram of gear or 2 grams of gear, while everyone is screaming, oh, that's totally obtainable natural. Because when you start looking at the guys who really admit what they do, and you see guys popping up admitting to using a gram or more even in this stuff, everyone's like, they're smaller than naturals. See the problem there? And these are people who know how to train. So you have that to deal with, right? You have that to deal with, that they're going to be criticized for not being IFBB pro bodybuilder size, even though we all know, based upon studies, the average gear user has like a 24 fat-free mass index. The average gear user in studies. Admitted. So you have that to deal with. Then you deal with all the social ramifications. Being canceled. Having things terminated for discussing these things. Potential legal implications. Right? Because a lot of this, when people are saying stuff, they're admitting to quasi-legal activity potentially. That's why all the guys say TRT, TRT. Because that's legal. So then they lie about being on TRT while still admitting that they're enhanced. Okay? A lot of that's done because of these ramifications, and that's what people don't understand, even though the use of all these things is ubiquitous in the lifting and fitness world. I promise you almost everyone you follow is on something, even the ones who scream they're natural. That's just the reality. You go to the gym, I promise you 1 in 5 guys at your gym, out of the guys who are reasonably serious about their lifting, is on something. Okay, this is the norm. And it's been that way 20, 30 years. Nothing has changed. But this is the downside. When people are honest, these are the problems that arise. There's someone like Mark Bell, too open, too positive about it. And that may be what happened here. So, so the thing that I would say to people is, this is why these things aren't discussed. This is why they're not out in the open. Even though everyone does it, there are consequences to honesty. Being honest comes at a price. doing the same things that everyone else does and just admitting to it, doing what is required to win, what is required to be a fitness influencer, what is required for people to reach their goals, and admitting to it comes at a cost. In this case, is it potentially what caused the shutdown there, the canceling? It's looking like it. And it's one of the things I've also seen proposed is it looks like it might have been a link that he had in there to something, might have been an issue. Okay, that is one rumor that's come out, but we don't know the truth because YouTube's not going to tell us exactly what it was. They're not going to come out and issue a public statement. This specifically is what it was. Just they felt his advice and information was dangerous. So what does that mean for a lot of the rest of us? That means for me, I'm probably not going to do the gear talk. The only one I'm leaving up for now, and I'll try to link it in the thing. I'll put it as one of the tags in here, is the one I did with a full disclaimer in it, just simply explaining how most over 40 lifters who use stuff, how they go about it, the majority of them that I know these days, because we all talk, what they do, how they go about it while maintaining their health and still keeping decent blood work. Because I think that probably sums up anything people need to know. Anything else that I'm talking about is stuff that all the coaches already know. There's nothing new. But I mean, in my case, I look at this and go, is this worth the risk? I mean, how many years of work do I have put into this channel? How important is it to my coaching business? It's critical to my coaching business, okay? It's kind of a big deal. Like my YouTube doesn't make that much money compared to my coaching, but it funnels my coaching. I can't risk that, unfortunately. I can't risk that for the sake of giving you guys knowledge and information. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way that it is. Okay, that's just the way that it is. And unless I see something that says it's safe and I feel bad for guys, maybe guys like Vigorous Steve or More Plates, More Dates, do they need to probably watch this? As far as the potential problems, maybe so. They may need to be careful. And that's the real problem, though, when this stuff does get pushed back into the darkness. We go back into the dark ages and then no one really talks about it. Then we're back to everyone just falling for the fake natty stuff. The nature of the game, this is what happens. And I think that's really the biggest downside to all of this, is if that's the case, and it's just hard for people to put information out on any platform that the public is going to digest and see, because it doesn't matter what you do in some civil forum. The lifters in the community aren't seeing it like they are in these big platforms. Then we just go back to the dark ages, to where the fake natties just run rampant like they have always done, and everyone just falls for it. And then when you do see the occasional person like Sam Saluk, who obviously uses amounts that exceed what the average IFBB pro uses, who won't be here in 5 years, he'll be dead. He's not going to make it. And it's very obvious to me with a trained eye that that's the case. Then they're like, well, this is what gear looks like. No, that's what insane, ludicrous amounts that kill you in less than 10 years look like. That's not typical, right? That's not even top 5%. That's not even top 1%. That is way up there. Then that becomes then what people think a little bit of heavy use looks like. And it just leaves everyone wide open again to be ripped off and conned by all the snake oil salesmen. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.